What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Season 4, Episode 4 of Hit the Books, the podcast all about sports betting, the best bets you should be taking and everything surrounding sports. This week, we're ready to talk more of the NFL season here. Week 4 is here. Lots of recaps and reviews, plus some college football, on top of some power rankings and more. But let's jump into this week's episode and introduce my co-hosts, Ace and Mackie here this week. Ace, let's start off with you. What do you got for us?
Yeah, just coming in. No Huff today. He's out there catching a Buccos game. Those Pittsburgh Pirates playing some baseball up there. I think he's the only person probably going to that one today. The Brewers, a good team in town, so that'll be a tough one for him. Hopefully, they can figure out how to get a dub. But yeah, Mackie and I are here to hold it down. Got another week of the NFL here. Both of our teams coming off a loss. Jesse, you're perfect with your record, and your Steelers are perfect with their record. So I think you're sitting pretty for football season so far. But I'm ready to get going here another week. Excited to get going.
Heck yeah, lots of good stuff, Ace. Mackie, what about you? What do you got?
Yeah, pretty disappointing loss from the Cowboys last week, but MLB playoff race heating up. Mets are kind of right in the conversation right there. Big series against the Braves right now, so looking for a few wins there. But football season in full swing. Had a nice positive week last week individually. But yeah, Cowboys tough showing against the Ravens. I know it looked close, but most of the game was pretty much a blowout. So I'm sure we'll get into that and yeah, let's get going.
Heck yeah, let's jump right into that Week 3 recap here. Patriots and Jets on Thursday Night Football. Patriots were not able to get it done, falling to the Jets 24-3. Ace, what do you have to say about your Patriots?
Yeah, honestly, not too much to say about the Patriots there. Everything everybody expected. I think the bigger story would be Aaron Rodgers and what he looked like in the prime time. I know he always shows up in the prime time, but he looked great. Looked like his old self, throwing on the run, moving the pocket, finding his receivers, connecting with Lazard, which is a sight to see. But having Garrett Wilson showing flashbacks of a Jordy Nelson touchdown there, he looked great. And then Braylon Allen, the youngest player in the league, I mean, he's just kind of come on to turn into a nice tandem with Breece Hall there. So that team's kind of firing on all cylinders. I had them in the top 5 of the power rankings. And I know they backdoored their way into ours, I believe. So they're set up for success here. That defense playing well. I believe it's Will McDonald that's been stepping up for them big time. But yeah, not too much about the Patriots. I think we might be turning to Drake May soon, so that's pretty exciting. But kind of par for the course. Mackie, any thoughts on those two? But I think the Jets are the big story.
Yeah, I just think Patriots showing their true colors. I know they played really well in those first 2 games. Almost were 2-0 when beating the Seahawks, but yeah, they definitely showed I think they showed their true colors in that game. Jets looked good. Ace, nice to see you on the Jets finally. I know you didn't have a lot of faith coming into the season. I think it took them to shit pump your Patriots for you to finally gain some respect for them. I guess it's the Jets too, so you got to see it before you believe it.
Oh, definitely.
But Aaron Rodgers looked good. Defense looked good. It could be turning the page for them. I know the Bills are kind of rolling right now, but definitely not running away with that division just yet. Jets definitely going to be sticking around.
Yeah, like you said, I think it's taken me a couple of weeks to come around. I took my survival last week 2 weeks ago against the Titans. They didn't even have a convincing win there. So I don't know. I haven't seen like the best of Aaron Rodgers coming off the injury yet, but I got to watch the full game as he played my Patriots, watch every snap, And I'm like, all right, he looks like that same old Aaron Rodgers. Is it because he's playing the Patriots? Is it because he's on the prime time? Got to see him do it again. But the whole team was showing glimpses of why they're touted to be a playoff team.
Yeah, definitely.
Lots of good stuff out of the Thursday night game, and Aces Patriots there, even though they did not get the win.
Sitting tied with the Cowboys still.
You're sitting tied with those Cowboys here, but those Steelers there taking the win, staying undefeated 3-0 against the Chargers here at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Great second half performance by the Steelers. They still aren't putting up a lot of points, but the
defense is carrying
3-0. Yeah,
3-0.
it's
TJ Watt leading the way, like early defensive player of the year leader in my opinion. Justin Fields playing a lot of turnover-free football. I know there's a couple mixed in there, but nothing too crazy. Chris Boswell, I know we've touched on this before, but it's funny because right when he got that huge contract, brutal, and everybody's like, they should just get a new kicker, get him out of there. Steelers stuck by his side, and he's been a great kicker year in and year out for them now ever since the early on debacles from the big payday, really carrying that offense. Maybe you see a little bit more life into the Steelers offense, but Huff called this to a T. We knew they were going to be having a positive record, if not undefeated, through their first few games. They don't have the tallest order ahead of them this week, even though I do lean the Colts, but they might have the good times rolling up there for the Inzers still for a while.
Heck yeah, let's move over to these Cowboys here, just barely unable to squeeze by these Ravens. Both teams 1-2 now. Ravens 28, Cowboys 25. Mackie, what do you think about your Cowboys?
Yeah, very frustrating situation because obviously it's there. Obviously we can do it. We come back in the fourth quarter, 19-0 in the fourth quarter, and you lose the football game. Hate to see it, but it was 28-6 at one point. Offense wasn't really playing. Okay, offense wasn't playing great. Dak wasn't playing bad in my opinion. Lamb fumbles the ball on the 5 yard line, something like that. I think there was another turnover inside Baltimore territory, but they just weren't getting the points up on the board. Defense looked like they were non-existent in the first half. Kind of definitely locked in the second half, but the defense definitely has to step up. They're coming into this season. They're looked at as a top 3, top 5 defense in all of football, and they're definitely not playing like it. Getting shit pumped by the Saints and 28 first half points to the Ravens didn't look good as well. So underwhelming performance. Dallas should definitely be playing a little better, but I'm not going to overreact just yet. They definitely have all the pieces. You just got to put it together.
Yeah, a lot of people overreact on these Cowboys. I'm not at all. We see that on social media. Some of those heads just love clamoring about them. I think they just hate the Cowboys more so. But what's been interesting to me, Mackie, is that Cowboys defense has been on the wrong page all year, giving up 3 touchdowns. I saw Adam Schefter and Pat McAfee breaking down the Lamar one where he walked it in, which is very similar to the Kamara one on the previous week. They're just not matching the hats on both sides of the ball. It's crazy. It's just miscommunication. And it's weird to see when you have a solid D coordinator. Who's your D coordinator right now? I heard the name the other day. I can't erase my mind right now.
I forget his name, but the big thing is Dan Quinn's gone, and I think that's really it's really a problem right
I
now
think
for
it's
this
a big
defense.
name. But they also have Mike McCarthy, who's a defensive-minded coach. And he's got to be on the hot seat. So is this a blessing in disguise for you guys to kind of be losing early on? Are you going to get rid of him? It's Mike Zimmer is your defensive coordinator. He's been around the league for a while, former head coach too,
Um,
I believe. But him and McCarthy both on the hot seat. Maybe you have Zimmer go first, good scapegoat. But it's crazy to see these Cowboys so defensively talented, just playing so poorly. And it's not even the athletic play; it's just mental mistakes, coaching mistakes, stuff you
it
don't
also
stuff you don't expect to see from the Cowboys in the regular season. This is usually
yeah
playoff
from the
time.
regular season, yeah, maybe playoff Cowboys, but regular season you expect them to kind of turn it up, but they just kind of look like uninterested out there. I don't know, maybe
The
they can
Lamb
lock it
fumble,
in.
that's just tough. You don't even think about that. Rinse and repeat. He doesn't do that often. It's just a tough break. But one thing I want to talk about is the Ravens. You guys scared me away from betting the Ravens this week because you guys were like, "Oh, it's in Dallas." I'm like, I know. Do they go 0-2 in Dallas to start the year? But there is no way Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, are going 0-3. You guys rightfully gave them a lot of flack the last 2 weeks, starting 0-2. But that's a good football team. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry both look great, and that's the duo we expect to see. They have a lot of other options too, and a pretty solid defense. So I expect them to come along and still win that North. But Lamar
It was
and
also
Derek,
losing. It was also losing to the Raiders that kind of turned me off from them.
mhm.
But they also have another big game this week against the Bills
Tough
and
schedule, huh?
MVP Josh Allen, who's playing like it right now. So that should be falling to 1-3, pretty dangerous as well.
Yeah, he does owe his little brother Josh Allen, so we'll see there. But that'll be a great game. I'm excited to get into that one.
Yeah, good week 3 though.
Yeah, solid week 3 in the NFL. We were blessed with 2 Monday Night Football games, both very high scoring.
Aiden Daniels.
Fun to watch, yeah. And we are blessed with 2 more here this week. So lots to look forward to as we jump into week 4. Let's jump into these power rankings here real quick before we get into week 4. Going into this week, coming in at number 5, the New York Jets. Number 4, the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 3, the Minnesota Vikings. Number 2, the Buffalo Bills. And number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. To round out our power rankings here for this week, what do you guys got on that?
Top 3 are auto, right?
Yeah, I think top 3 are auto, but it's crazy to say that with the Vikings coming in there at the number 3. But when you have that team that's playing really well and you have a quarterback in Sam Darnold who's playing the way he's playing, it's hard not to put them there, and they're beating the best teams in the league, and they're playing really good football. To embarrass the Texans like that is huge. That's when you kind of sit there and you're like, okay, this team may be actually legit.
Legit, yeah.
And the way Sam Darnold's playing against these teams, it's just it's not a fluke, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a fluke all season. So this is definitely a team to look out for.
Yeah, and one thing that's pretty crazy to me, Sam Darnold, like I want to get into this quarterback discussion on a larger scale here in a second, but that Vikings team, their defensive coordinator, Brian Flores, he was once heralded with the New England Patriots, went down and had some head coaching woes. Some guys aren't meant to be the head coach. And on the other side of the ball, they have Kevin O'Connell. I believe he came over from the Rams. They have 2 great coordinators with a talented team on both sides of the ball. Sam Darnold walking into a great situation. Justin Jefferson looks great. They brought in Aaron Jones. They have Naylor, they have Addison, they have Hawkinson coming back eventually. But what I really want to touch on is the quarterback landscape of today. A lot of these guys are all run first quarterbacks, right? And that's why we don't see too much success at the next level because these defenses are much more complicated. They're tougher to play against. in that athletic ability, you can't always get it done. You got to use your mind, stay in the pocket, and pass the ball. Well, coming into the league, Sam Darnold behind that tough offensive line for the Jets, being a young guy, he kind of had to learn the ropes, and he didn't work out well, getting shit on basically with his emotions, seeing ghosts and whatnot. Give those guys, the pocket passers, some time to develop, some age, and they end up being good. Look at Baker Mayfield. Look at Sam Darnold. You give them some years to learn how to play in the NFL with the skill set they already have, drafted as these top picks. Once they get into the right situation with the right team and hit the right age, let's remember he's younger than Josh Allen and only a year, maybe a year younger than Joe Burrow as well. They're same
Same
age.
age,
Yeah, I mean,
27.
you give these guys some time to develop, especially these top picks. They're going to turn into good quarterbacks. They learn how to manage a game and put their athletic ability together. And look at what we have now. We have good quarterbacks in Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, who were once written off. Geno Smith, same thing. So I think it's interesting to see the quarterback landscape nowadays, and he's just firing on all cylinders, and he's got them up in those power rankings. But yeah, Jets and Eagles, good to get back in there. I mean, the Eagles are a great team, even though they haven't been playing great football yet, and they're kind of banged up. And then the Chiefs and Bills, no other reason to talk about them.
Alrighty, lots of good stuff there, boys. Let's jump into week 4 here, starting with Thursday night football with the Cowboys and the Giants in New York. The Cowboys are the favorite here, 6 points for them. The total, 45.5. Giants money line at plus 220. Mackie, what do you think your Cowboys are able to do on Thursday night football this week?
I think it's going to be a better game than expected. I like Dak to have a good game. I could see points in this game. I don't see Cowboys defense putting it all together just yet. I know they're going against Daniel Jones, who Ace probably isn't very high on, but he's getting the job done this year, and he's doing what he needs to. Devin Singletary also not having a bad season. When you have Malik Neighbors throw the ball to for Daniel Jones, there's not much that you really have to do. So I could see a lot of points on the board. I think Dak has 2 to 3 touchdown passes. I think they win this game, but it's not going to be easy. And the way the Giants are playing, they're playing tight football against every single team they played this season. Actually, that's not true. They got killed week 1 against the Vikings. But last 2 weeks, they looked really good. Obviously, getting that win last week against the Browns. Should have got the win in week 2 against the Commanders, scoring 3 touchdowns, allowing 0. But you know how the Giants go. I'm going to say Cowboys win this game, but it's going to be a tight battle. 5-point game. Give me the Cowboys 27-22, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Mackie, this is, I don't know if it is because it's divisional in a Thursday short week primetime game, but is
On the
this the
road.
week where we find out the identity of the Dallas Cowboys? 1-2 against a divisional rival who's much weaker than you on paper. You have to win this game, you would think, if they have any chance of competing. You just paid this big contract to one of the top quarterbacks in the league. You just paid the big contract to the receiver who fumbled the game away last week. You have the defensive pieces. You have the coaches, the skill players. You brought back familiar faces in the backfield. You have to win this game if you're the Dallas Cowboys. And coming into this week after my first take for that Cowboys loss last week after losing 2 in a row at home, I was like, oh shit, I think they're going to lose this game to the New York Giants this week. And the New York Giants are terrible in my opinion. But I think that the Cowboys are going to come out and win this game. I know it's a short week, but they're experienced. They have veterans all around, veteran coaching staff. I think Dak Prescott is a good quarterback, contrary to a lot of people's beliefs. I think he's worth the money, especially in today's QB landscape, like I said earlier. I have the Cowboys winning this one. Would I be surprised if they pump them? No, because they have the ability to do it. But it is a divisional game on Thursday Night Football on the road. Malik Neighbors is stepping up big time, and so is Wan'Dale Robinson, 2 big picks. That's why I'm not high on Daniel Jones, still not. I think he's just being carried by those big targets, but that's what you do when you draft them that highly. So I think Neighbors continues his dominance, even though you do have a strong defense out there in Dallas that hasn't played that way yet. They match up well with them. This would be a good get right spot for the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Cowboys here. Jesse, what did you say the spread was?
6. Even 6.
Tough number. I like them as a parlay leg, if anything, on the money line. Don't know if I'm going to take a -6. Maybe look at a team total over, as I do think they put up points as well. But this is going to be a tough one. Mac, do you think this is a must-win game for your Dallas Cowboys?
I don't, just because I feel like a lot of the better teams are kind of starting it on the weaker side this season. You fall to 1-3. Obviously, not a situation you want to be in. But this isn't a team that can't win 7, 8 games in a row at one point. I don't care who they play. You could take them against any team if you really needed to. So I'm not going to say it's a must-win situation, but in terms of getting everything together and getting the defense right and getting the offense in the full swing of things, it's got to click at some point. And this is a perfect game to get it to go, get everything
Would
together.
you say this is a lock this week, though? Like, is this a
No,
lock that the Dallas Cowboys win this game?
no, I
That's
don't. I
crazy to
don't.
say. Isn't that crazy to say, though? Like, coming into the season before these first 3 weeks took place, we would have seen week 4 and circled that as a W for the Cowboys easily.
With the way this season's going anyway, I mean, the 3 highest spreads in week 1, 2, and 3 have all lost the game outright. Nobody is a lock right now, I don't care who you are. And this is definitely a divisional game on the road, on a short week. It's definitely in no terms a lock. And the way Cowboys have been playing, I mean, you can't really take them as a lock against anyone right now. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be a tight battle. They might have to come from behind, and you know how Dallas comes from behind. It doesn't usually end very well. But something's gotta click at some point. This team's too good to not get over that hump. I think they get the job done at the end of the day in this game.
I think they do limit the plays to the playmakers like Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson. I think they also shut down Devin Singletary, who's a pedestrian running back at best, even though he's overplaying that role this season so far.
He's definitely overplaying it.
But that Cowboys defense, I think, can bring a lot of this Giants offense back to earth. I know they haven't played well yet, but on Thursday Night Football, you would think off a short week from the Giants, who had a successful week last week, you would think that the Cowboys defense is kind of licking their chops, saying, "Let's go, let's show America on Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime that we're still a good defense with big playmakers." I think CeeDee Lamb's going to continue to eat. I think a CeeDee Lamb touchdown and his yardage might be a good play this week in the prime time. Once again, I could see him continue to roll. But I like these Cowboys in this spot. The 6 does scare me just because it's divisional short week, but there's the opportunity for a blowout for the Cowboys here. I do sense it.
Hopefully, we have a great Thursday Night Football game there on Amazon Prime, like Ace and Mackie said. Let's jump into our first 1 o'clock matchup here on Sunday. Saints and Falcons heading to Atlanta. The Falcons the favorite here, 2.5 points for them. 42.5 is our total. Falcons money line at -135. Saints at +115. What do you guys got for this matchup?
Interesting matchup. Didn't seem too interesting coming into the season, but with the way the Saints have played of late, they look good. And in a losing effort, that was a classic Saints Eagles game right there. 15-12, weird score, strong defenses playing each other in an NFC bout. Do you think it kind of comes back towards the mean right here? Do you think that the Saints lose this game and that division tightens up a bit more than it looked on early on?
I just think the Falcons are stronger than most people think. I think the defense is playing really good. I think the addition of Matthew Judon has been massive and overlooked, honestly. Um, Held Kansas City to 22 points last week. Obviously, couldn't get the win. They probably could have if they just kicked the field goal a few times. But um, this is going to be a really good game. I'm going to go with the under here. I don't want to pick a winner on it. I think the Saints are legit as well.
Hmm.
But even if they lose this game, it's a divisional game. It's on the road. Atlanta's a good team. Kirk Cousins is playing really good football as the last 2 weeks. Obviously, had a tough time against that gauntlet of a Steelers defense, but he's kind of found his way in this offense, and I think if he can find a way to win this game. It's not going to be easy, but my only safe play here is the under. I think there's going to be minimal points.
Yeah, like you said, Matthew Judon really breathing some more life into that defense. They added a lot of pieces. There's a lot of superstars on that side of the ball now. The offensive side of the ball, we saw Kyle Pitts make that big catch last week. Still not really getting as involved as everybody would like to be. See him do, but he's still looking pretty good. Bijan looks great. They have Algier, who's a very valid number 2. Drake London kind of coming into his own. I'd say he's like a top 25 receiver, maybe Drake London, with some more upside potential. Kirk Cousins, though, not too super sold on him. Still don't understand why they gave him that big contract and drafted Michael Penix. Would like to see him get a shot, but I don't think it'll be this year. I do think this Falcons team is pretty frisky, though, and can compete for the division. But on the other side, the Saints look fucking great. Who is it? Dennis Allen, I believe their coaches, has them playing good football. They have a good kicker who's putting up some big points in group. But Derek Carr has really come into his own. I threw that light Derek Carr futures ticket to win MVP in a while ago. But do you think he can outduel Kirk Cousins? That's going to be the big thing here. Kamara, I think, has looked like the better running back than Bijan to date, kind of reasserting himself in the top running back conversation. And if you have him in fantasy, kudos to you because he's really beating his ADP there. But I think this is going to be a great game. Jesse, what was that total sitting at for this one?
Total at 42.5
I,
for this matchup.
yeah, I like the under here. 2 divisional teams that are really playing for a lot. I think this is going to be a hard fought game where every yard is going to be tough to earn. Maybe big plays like Rashid Shaheed or Chris Olave can really break this one open for the Saints. If they're able to have a good day and find those home run plays like they had in the early weeks, then they could take this one. I like them on the money line, but I like the under a lot more here. I think they play it close to the vest. 2 strong defenses that duke it out, and it's going to be a big kicker 3-point game here.
Awesome stuff. Let's keep it moving here. 1-2 teams, the Los Angeles Rams, Chicago Bears. In Chicago, the Bears are the favorite. 3 points for them, total and even 41. Bears money line at -150. Rams at +125. What are we thinking? These two rough teams. I don't like watching these teams.
Me neither.
Tough game. I mean, I can't take the Bears as a favorite. I can't. I mean, they had a lucky win in week 1 against obviously Will Levis, who just blows every game. You saw him do it week 2 against the Jets as well. Rams coming off a really overwhelming win against the 49ers, who I really think they had no business winning that game, and I bet on them that game.
That's what I'm saying.
Sweatiest bet of my life. I don't think they had a chance to even cover the game. They ended up winning it outright. I don't like a side here. I really don't. I don't have a plan on this one. If I'm gonna lean anything, I'm gonna lean on the Rams. I think Matthew Stafford just get the job done in a pretty shitty matchup. But I don't know. Caleb Williams just hasn't found himself yet. That that offense just really isn't doing much. I know the offensive line is brutal, but DeAndre Swift in the backfield also has been pretty brutal himself. So I'm not gonna take this Bears team against anyone until they can actually prove it to me. Give me the Rams for the sake of conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Rams for the sake of conversation. Definitely not betting on this one, and it's because of the Sean McVay, Matt Stafford running the show for him. Like you
Kyron
said,
Williams touchdown machine too.
yeah, he's a top running back in the NFL. A lot of people were worried about Corum and maybe some lingering injury issues coming in the season, but that guy is good. I think he already proved it last year, in my opinion. He's one of the top running backs in the NFL, at least top 8. I don't know. That's a rough projection off the dome piece there. Don't come at me for that one. But I think he is a good. I think he's a really good running back, solid RB1. The rest of that team, not too sold on it though. Honestly, I have no idea how they beat the Niners, but the Niners do have a pretty banged up group. At least they did last week with
Well, the
Jawan.
Rams do too.
Yeah,
Rams are very
yeah, definitely. That's the reason I'm so low on these Rams, because if they had Cup, if they have Nakua, if they had any O line and any defense, I was kind of weary of the defense to begin with this season. But if they had any of that, I would be much more confident in them because they had McVay and Matt Stafford running the show and Kyron Williams. I mean, hopefully they get back to full health at some point, and I'd like to see if this team can hang around to give them playoff conversation until then. But I think their coaching prowess is what's going to have to carry them here, and that's why I take them over the young team this week. What's crazy to me with the Bears is how coming into the year, we were all hyped up on this offense. You couldn't get enough of it. That's all everybody talked about. But it's actually been the defense that's been carrying the way for them. They've looked good this year. Jaquan Brisker really coming into his own as a superstar safety in this league. That pick they got from that Panthers deal ended up to be a good corner. They got a few good corners out there. They're keeping them in games, that defense, and maybe Caleb Williams puts together. I know it's his rookie year. He's got a lot of pieces around him, though. Swift and Moore and O'Duns, and maybe Keenan Allen will play a game here or there. He's got Komet and Everett. I mean, they have a lot of good pieces. So you think they put together. Don't think it's this week against McVay. I think McVay outsmarts his opponent once again and gets to 500 with the most banged up lineup in the league.
Yeah, definitely the dud of the week though.
Yeah, boring one for sure. Low score here, I would like to see.
Alrighty, let's keep moving through this 1 o'clock slate here. The Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. The Packers at home here, 2.5 points is the spread for them. Total is at 43.5. Packers money line at -135. Vikings at +115. What do we see here? Vikings still 3-0. Packers 2-1 here. What do you think?
How scary is this line making you? Because it looks like Vegas knows something we don't, and they're going to cash out big.
I don't know. It looks like Jordan Love could be playing in this game as well.
Yeah, if Jordan Love does play in this game, he's coming off of injury. How good do players play coming off of injury? They held him out the extra week because we saw him practicing even the week before. So maybe he is a full go if he is a go. Without him, I think it's an easy win for the Vikings. But even without him, I mean, this Packer team's pass game, we just talked about Sean McVay. Matt LaFleur is one of the best coaches in the league. I like the coordinators in Minnesota, but I like the head coach in Green Bay. What side are you leaning on? This is a tough one for me. Even those Vikings are tough to bet against.
I'm definitely gonna have to see the money splits on this one. I think you're gonna see a lot of money on the Vikings. I lean Vikings off rip, but this this Packers team has been pesky too. And they had that excuse me, they had that great performance against the Eagles in Week 1 and come up short. They came back with Malik Willis and gone 2-0 against two games they probably shouldn't, or they definitely weren't favored to win.
Mm-hmm.
But they put up great performances. The defense has played good. Malik Willis has looked good. Josh Jacobs kind of doing his thing. I don't know. I'm not really writing off this Packers team. I think they have a nice roster over there, but this Vikings team, the way they're playing right now, you think they're due for a bad week? That's the only thing that can really sway me the other way.
I don't know. I don't think it'll be against this team, but it is a divisional game, and that Packers defense is stronger than people think. I remember I had those Packers pegged to chase the division with Jordan Love fully healthy before he went down, so it's kind of a tough spot for me. I definitely am not betting against Sam Darnold and the Vikings right now. There's zero chance that you advise anybody to do that. Justin Jefferson's been on fire, finds the end zone week after week. I took his reception prop, which did hit last week, but I should have taken his touchdown prop because the better value was there. They've looked great. The defense has stepped up big time. Like I said, B-Flow from Flores, from former Patriot, former Dolphins head coach, has really breathed life back into that unit. Divisional game here, though, so it's going to be a closer one. Matt LaFleur, he's got this one ready to go. He probably knows how to attack this team, both on both sides of the ball. I'm going to stay away on this one. I really am enticed by that plus money sign next to the Vikings. Maybe I end up being a sucker and putting it on there, because how do you not with the way they've been? But this Packers team is really formidable. I think I said this before the year started. There's going to be 3 teams from the NFC North in the playoffs this year, and it's going to be the Packers, the Vikings, the Lions, and I'm sticking to it. I think all 3 can push for it. NFC West kind of
good right now.
NFC West kind of scaring me. Your division's the one that's kind of shit in the bed early on, but it's so early it doesn't matter. I don't know. I think this is going to be a great football game. I hope Jordan Love plays too, because I think there's going to be a lot more points on the board if he does. If not, it's going to be slower, and we're going to have to see big plays from Jefferson and win this one. Give me the Vikings here. Give me Jefferson to get in. But with Love, I'm taking the over.
My official play is going to be the under on this game. I think
regardless of who's in at QB?
Yeah. 2 good divisional battle.
Mackie, the king of unders today.
Yeah, I'm liking a lot of unders this week. And
divisional games.
Haven't even gotten to the Steelers yet. I'm going to like that one too.
The Iowa Hawkeyes.
I don't blame you. Yeah, here we go. Steelers Colts 1 p.m. here in Indianapolis. I can't wait to hear the Colts fan guy sing about my Steelers.
Oh my God, dude, that guy is.
I can't wait.
Let's get him on. Let's get him on the podcast.
I would love to get him on the show.
And then can we get some of the I know Jesse said them in the chat a while ago. And then can we get those guys from Texas that sing the Deep Heart in the Heart of Texas song for your Cowboys?
Yeah, but I'm not joining in.
Oh, you have to. Come on. That was your favorite part, is when we went to AT&T Stadium, you looked around, you saw your fellow Cowboys fans, you're like, "Yep, I'm home."
Mackie's gonna be sitting there just shaking because he's gonna be like, I want to sing so bad.
It's electric, dude. It's electric.
All right, guys.
Miller Lite Fieldhouse, though, that place is great. Great stadium. I advise everybody that's listening, go check out that Dallas Cowboys AT&T Stadium. Jerry did it right. Jerry's.
Heck yeah, lots of good stuff down in Dallas there. But Steelers Colts here in Indianapolis. Steelers the favorite, just 1.5 points here. Total at an even 40. Colts money line plus 105. Steelers minus 125. Curious to hear what you guys think is going to happen here in the Steelers game. I believe Mac is going to say an under, but go for it.
Give me the under. Anthony Richardson cannot get out of his own way. He shows signs of greatness one second, the other second he's throwing the ball right to the other team on purpose. I don't know what's going on with this guy. I think he has signs of being a very good quarterback.
Raw talent.
I just think he needs to get out of his own way and just simplify his game a little. They have a nice offensive roster up there. They have a nice O-line. Give JT the ball enough. But then again, you're going against probably the best defense in the league. Definitely playing like it right now, averaging 8 points per game given up. I'm not going to take the Steelers here. I think they should get the job done. I think they should get the job done.
He doesn't want to say it because they're not
good. No. I'm realistic about them.
Are they good, though?
Yeah, they're definitely a little above average.
But are they good?
Are they 3-0 good? No, they're not 3-0 good.
They are, but they're 3-0. Here we are.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not going to, you can't shit on them until they've actually done what they've what we think they're going to do.
The Chase Claypool stuff is coming. We need some quote from somebody on the Steelers to speak it into existence. But I don't think this holds up. I am all over the Indianapolis Colts this week. Do I card it? I don't know, because like I said, why would you bet against a 3-0 team? It's a really tough thing to do. The only thing that gives me hope for these Colts, more so than my initial takes on the game, is that they're playing in Lucas Oil Stadium. They're not playing up at Acrisure. Acrisure Stadium, said it correctly there, not Heinz anymore, sadly. But yeah, if this was in Heinz, I'd take the Steelers any day of the week. In Indianapolis, I like the Colts here. I think they're a better team. I don't think these Pittsburgh Steelers are good. They're well coached.
Are an all-around better team than the Steelers.
Skill-wise, on paper, yes. That offense, we're not playing on paper, though. We're not simulating the game. We're playing the game on the gridiron. I know. So it changes a lot of things. And that X factor, TJ Watt, that has shown his face in every game to date, who has no signs of slowing down, best player on the field, game changer, has gotten them to this 3-0 point. But I think in Indianapolis, the Colts are finding a way to right the ship and get to 500. I know I agree with you. We've seen mixed bag from Anthony Richardson, the good, the bad, the ugly. But I'm going to read the good signs here like an idiot going into some relationship. You're like, hey, let me take this here because I've seen the best in Anthony Richardson, and I know it's there, and I know he can do it. And they have Jonathan Taylor. They have all the receivers in the world. They match up very well with this team, a formidable O-line that can kind of keep him in check. And Anthony Richardson, when the pocket breaks down from TJ Watt, he can extend the play. I don't think Justin Fields in this lackluster offense can continue to be undefeated by not putting up touchdowns. You have to put up touchdowns to win. And you could say, look at last week. The Colts could barely get in the end zone. And if it's a low-scoring game, you got to love the Steelers. And you're right. But I think this is the week where we see Anthony Richardson do what he did against the Texans, put up some big plays for big touchdowns. I saw a plus sign when I was looking at this earlier in the week, so you got to shop your books because Jesse had him at minus 105, I believe. So I'm going to take him
Plus.
Yeah, plus 105. So yeah, like I said, I like the plus sign there. Do I put it on my card? Not positive yet. Not positive because those Steelers are scary and playing winning football. But I think it's going to be a really, really tight game here. And I think the Colts are going to take it away because they're at home and they have the better quarterback. But it's going to be a good game. I do think it's going to be a good game. If the Steelers give up more than 20 points to anybody, do you think they can win?
No.
Yeah, that's what we have to find out, right? So that's what we got to see.
That was just sad. No.
But the thing is, once we see the Steelers score 20 points or more, then I'll be more inclined to take them or lean towards them. Until then, it's tough to ever bet on them, and I'm going to lean with Mackey. If you think the Steelers are going to win, you might as well just bet the under.
It's not a bad call, honestly, with all these. The Steelers just cannot put up points, but they also limit
They
points
don't need to,
excessively. Right.
Under.
Lots of good stuff here in the 1 o'clock slate so far. Let's keep it moving here. Denver Broncos, New York Jets. Jets at home here. Jets are the favorites. 7.5 points here. Biggest spread so far this week. Total 39.5. Jets money line at minus 375. Broncos at plus 300. What do we think here, Mackey? Your New York Jets.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Broncos plus the points here. I'm not gonna say they're gonna get the job done, but Broncos have played every team tight this year so far. Got a nice win last week. Sitting at 1-2 right now. I think they keep this game close. I think they obviously Bo Nix is gonna have his problems against that Jets defense, but he's pretty good at extending plays, scrambling, making something out of nothing. I really think he's having a pretty good season with that limited offense up there in Denver, but you could see a big game out of Cortland Sutton. I know he's probably going to be blanketed by Sauce Gardner. I'm going to go with the plus 7.5 here. I think Jets coming off a pretty big win could have an underwhelming performance.
Yeah, the tough thing is, do you think it's a trap game 2 weeks in a row by the Denver Broncos? You think they pull the covers over somebody's eyes when they're not looking? I don't know. I think that win over the Bucs woke up a lot of other people in the league. It's like, hey, if you don't show up against the Denver Broncos, you're going to lose that week. And like I said, I think the Rodgers Jets are firing on all cylinders, coming off of 2 straight wins and a big win in the primetime against a rival where he looked like his old self. All the offensive weapons are working for them right now. The old line's playing pretty well, which is nice to see.
For who? The Jets?
Yeah.
It's only last game. I mean, they had one good game, and I just don't want to overreact to that team.
Yeah, that's the thing is they had one good game.
It's been playing really well. Pat Surtain's been playing great. Garrett Wilson might have a tough game,
but they also lost their top linebacker, I believe, for the year, tore his ACL last week, and ended up playing the full game. What's his name out there? Is it High? Do they have Highsmith? I saw it today online.
Tore his ACL and finished the game.
Yeah, Broncos linebacker ACL tear. Yeah, Alex Singleton. Is that a former Steeler, Jesse?
No, you're thinking of Highsmith. Highsmith's on the Steelers right now.
Yeah.
He just got hurt as well.
Yeah, but Alex Singleton lost him for the rest of the season. He played every single snap last week and tore his ACL in the first quarter. That's crazy to me. I mean, that's just awesome. And I think he had to do it because he was like, if I leave this game, we're not beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He wanted to end the season on a high note. So that was Super Bowl. Kudos to him. Credit to him. But you lose him. He's one of your top defensive players. And like I said, you just beat the Bucs on the road. Now you got to go play the Jets, who are playing well. and they're ready for you. And then the other thing you said, Bo Nix is going to have to play decent for them to win or to cover. I don't think he does. This is a very, very, very strong Jets defense with a defensive-minded coach in Robert Saleh. You have that former bum from Denver on the offensive side of the ball who kind of got ran out of town, Hackett. He's going to look to put up some big numbers, I think, this week. And I think they're able to cover a big spread. I think I'm going to take the Jets with the big spread here. I think Rodgers and co., they get going again. The two running backs, the two-headed snake at running back, though, is that the best running back duo in the league right now?
At the moment.
It's crazy, and it only has so much room to grow. They're both so young. It's crazy to me.
They got that tandem up in Detroit, but
oh yeah, that's probably the better one. You're not wrong. A bit more proven too, but a lot more upside in this one, I think. These two are both playing great in that defense, though. They're playing really well too. Will McDonald, like I mentioned, leading the league in some sack, tackle for loss categories, at least up there. Then you have those blankets in the secondary as well. I like the Jets with the points here. I think they're able to get it done. I think the Broncos kind of regress back to where they should be after playing some good games so far. Kudos to them for beating the Bucs last week, but you're not doing it 2 weeks in a row, Bo Nix. You only scored on the ground. That's the only way you're going to score, and I don't think you can do that against this Jets defense. Give me the Jets with the points here. Blow them out.
Look at Jesse. I think we have our new biggest Jets fan.
Oh, God. Definitely not. But
listen to this guy. Has him in the top 5 in the rankings.
That's scary.
Has him blowing out the Broncos here. All it took was a blowout of the Patriots for him to believe.
Yeah, they beat the best team in the league, and now I'm convinced.
All right, well, now they're aces, New York Jets, I guess.
Oh, God, definitely not.
I'm going to have to remember that one, mental note.
Definitely not. But this week, this week I'm going to take them on the card -7, so I guess so.
Fair enough. Ugh. All righty, let's keep going here in this 1 o'clock slate. Philadelphia Eagles heading to Tampa Bay to see the Buccaneers. The Eagles are the favorite here, just 2 points. The total, an even 44. Eagles money line at -130, Bucks at +105. What do we think happens here in Tampa Bay here this week? 2 teams, 2-1 on the year.
God, I feel like a broken record, but I like the under in this one, sitting at 44.5. Baker might have a tough time against that good Eagles defense, and I'm not sold on Jalen Hurts right now in this offense. They're not really putting up the points. Not everything's gelling right now. Took Saquon Barkley to have a 65-yard run to kind of get things going last week. Bucks coming off a really bad performance. I'm going to say that they have another shaky one. I'm a big fan of Baker, but another tough defense. I'm going to go with the under 44 here.
I'm going to take the Bucks on the money line. I might lock this in earlier in the week than I'd like to, but today A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Lane Johnson all missed practice. Imagine you miss all 3 of those guys going into a game with a Bucks offense that can score points with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield the way he's played up until last week. I think this is a great matchup here. 2 of the NFC's strongest teams. Eagles had a tough schedule so far, huh? So have those Bucks a little bit. But I think that Baker Mayfield's able to get the job done. I love seeing the plus money there. But if they miss both Brown and Smith this week, I don't know how they're going to put points up on the board. Jalen Hurts himself hasn't looked good enough to carry this offense. And I think that the Bucks defense is a little bit better than we think. I think this Bucks team gets the job done here. Give me them with the plus sign there. Like I said, might lock this in earlier in the week than I like, because if those guys are all ruled out, that's going to flip the other way, and the Bucks might be favored without Smith and Brown.
Since when does the NFC South have 3 legitimate teams?
Since nobody else likes to win. Yeah, and watch out for Bucky Irving to steal Rashad White's job. I'm a big Rashad White fan, but a lot of people think
Heard a lot of that.
Yeah, a lot of people think he's going to come on and do well. I think Rashad White a little banged up too, but I'm a White fan. I think he gets back to his old self here soon enough.
All righty, and our second to last 1 o'clock matchup here: the Cincinnati Bengals, an 0-3 team here this year against the Carolina Panthers, 1-2. Bengals are the favorite here still. 4 points for them. The total an even 47. Bengals at -210 on the money line. Panthers +170. What do we think happens here in Charlotte?
Ace is itching to talk about these.
I've told you all season long, the Cincinnati Bengals are terrible. And it's not because of Joe Burrow. He hasn't played good. Or he hasn't played great, I should say.
Good last week.
Not good enough to beat the rookie and the bad Washington Commanders. That's the worst team in your division.
Have we commented on his new look yet?
Yeah, Slim Shady. I have a group chat literally that's dedicated to Joe Burrow hate. 0-3. I can't say that on the pod. I don't want to get it. 0-3 since looking like that.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, don't say it.
0-3 since looking like that. Like Slim Shady out there. More worried about his haircut, more worried about off the field. Jamar Chase wants to fight everybody and get paid elsewhere. T. Higgins, I don't know if he plays week in and week out. Doesn't even look that great last week. Exactly. And then Zach Moss is your leading rusher. He's good, but he's not good enough to take over a game. Their defense is led by Trey Hendrickson, who looks good. But Cam Taylor-Britt, you talk so much shit, and all you do is get lit up week in and week out. I know you had a great interception, but other than that, you're
He
not doing
played
too much.
great against Rashi. Don't say week
But
in
how
and
did
week
he do
out.
this week against Terry McLaurin?
That was a
Dusted.
dot. That was a
Dusted.
dot.
All
That
right,
was a
what
dot.
about the play where he fell, too, and Jada missed him?
Yeah, well, that happens. But Cam Taylor-Britt
Was getting dusted this week.
talks his shit up way
The
better than
Washington
anybody else does.
Commanders dusted him. Yeah, you can't be talking too much CTB when you're 0-3. Jesse loves those Commanders. Anytime we mention him, he's got to raise the fist.
Stand up.
Yeah, we'll get to them soon enough. I'm eager to gas up Jaden Daniels. But let's just keep shitting on these Cincinnati Bengals a little bit more. More worried about their uniforms and what they wear on the field, and how they look doing it.
All right.
But I'm going to blame the management here. This is on upper management. I don't think Zach Taylor's a good coach. He was overrated for getting them to the Super Bowl that year when they did have a good roster. But their roster has gone so far downhill since they went to the Super Bowl, letting so many key pieces walk out the door. So it's just crazy to me how people thought they could come in and win this division. I don't think they're dead, but they are because they're not a good team. I mean, 0-3, you're not dead yet, but one bright spot for their season so far has been Yosivash, that rookie receiver that's come on the scene. I like him as a 3 slot. And Gesicki's picked up his load with Eric All, too, at the tight end position. But I think they lose here this week in a revenge game from the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton. I told you the Panthers were going to beat the Raiders last week because Andy Dalton was the first QB this season to throw for 300-plus and 3 touchdowns. He's going to beat his former team here this week, and those Bengals are going to be in shambles. Zach Taylor, you're on the hot seat.
That's sad that we're in week 4 and there's only been one quarterback to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Where has this game gone? I don't know.
NFL.
But you know what? Till the brakes fall off, I'm just gonna go Bengals. Bengals minus 3.5. You know, Panthers overwhelming win last week. Everyone's gonna be on them this week, thinking Andy Dalton turned this team around.
No, everybody's gonna be on the Bengals.
No, thinking everyone forgets the rest of the roster is still dog shit. I'm gonna go Bengals minus 3.5. The line's dropping. I don't even care. 3.5.
Andy Dalton out for the year is a tough scene.
Give me him alternate line minus 16.5.
Oh my god. What are you gonna say when they're down like 10 points in the second quarter already and you're gonna be like, shit.
I'm gonna
Here
say
we go again. And you know what's crazy too? Evan McPherson, I thought he was gonna be one of the top kickers in the league, and he's been kind of shaky to start the year. Missing another field goal again last week.
Justin Tucker too. You see Justin Tucker.
I saw a great meme the other day. Of I sent it to my brother, big Ravens fan, of the car. You ever seen Cars 3?
No.
All right. Well, it's like when Lightning McQueen's kind of washed up and he's in a race against all the new race cars that are a lot better.
Oh,
The new one comes by and he buzzes by him. He's like, and Lightning's fading. He's fading fast. Well, that's Brendan Aubrey passing Justin Tucker as the best kicker in the league nowadays. And they played each other last week. So go find that Cars 3 clip because it's pretty exact. Maybe I'll send it
I know
in
what
the
you're
chat.
talking about.
But Justin Tucker, sad to see. Sad scene. But yeah, this Bengals team, they're losing again this week. Andy Dalton is good. He's going to retain the starting job. And hopefully Bryce Young can learn a thing or two so he can come back and be better than Derek Carr like we told you last year. Or do they trade Derek Carr? Imagine going to Miami. That'd be awesome. Jonathan Brooks back here soon, too. That's something to be excited for Panthers fans.
Alrighty, let's get into our final 1 o'clock matchup here for Sunday in Week 4. The Jacksonville Jaguars heading to Houston to visit the Texans here. The Texans are the favorite, 6.5 points there. Totaled an even 45. Texans money line at minus 300. Jags at plus 240. What do we think about this matchup in Houston? Jags 0-3 here heading into Week 4.
I can never bet on this Jags team again. That was a brutal performance on Monday night. I know the Bills have been playing really well. Josh Allen playing turnover-free football, which is making him best quarterback in the league at this moment. Not saying in the league, just at this moment, he's the best quarterback in the NFL. But these high spreads are scaring me. You know how they've gone this season. It doesn't matter who it is. Those heavy underdogs kind of find ways to get the job done. But I'm gonna go with the Texans here after a pretty bad performance. I think they get back on the gun. This Jacksonville defense doesn't even look like they want to play football right now. I expect CJ Stroud to take advantage of it and that offense to kind of get back in the swing of things.
Yeah, so I'm really high on these Texans, and I think they should win this game. But if there was ever a spot for the Jaguars to get a win on the board, it would be this week. Have they had the toughest schedule to start the year or what? I mean, Mackie, I agree with you. I bet him last week on the money line. But did you watch that game? You turned it on at the end of the first quarter. From the get-go, that stadium pulse was way too much for Trevor Lawrence and that whole team. They got ran through on the defensive side of the ball. What was tough is they got him to fourth down on the first possession, and the Bills converted on that fourth down with a big play and ended up scoring. Imagine how that air would have came out of the stadium if they got stopped on fourth down and Trevor would have got to start with a quiet defense. Meanwhile, he had to go up against the stadium roaring. They went 3 and out. Bills went up quick 13-0. The wheels were off from there.
Trevor Lawrence is also ass.
I don't think he's ass. I think he's that O line's really, really, really bad. They were getting blown through left and right last week. They've been getting blown through his whole career. Also, I saw an interesting stat that since he's came into the league, the Jacksonville Jaguars lead the league in drop passes. That's a tough scene considering they have some really good pass catchers out there in Jacksonville. Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas Jr., Christian Kirk, Evan Engram, Travis Etienne. He hasn't looked too great. I wonder if he's a little banged up too. Doug Peterson also very much on the hot seat, even though he's a good coach. That defense hasn't performed up to its talent level, especially with Josh Hines Allen leading the group and Foye Loquan. He's really good too. Expected a lot more of them, but if there was ever a week to kind of right the ship a little bit and win a game here, it'd be this week in a divisional game where you actually know this team pretty well and it's a good matchup. I do like Stroud here though to get it going. I don't think they drop 2 in a row. But those divisional matchups scare me. I love the Texans, but I'm not going to bet on them. Going to stay away in this divisional one, especially with Mixon questionable once again. I think that's a big piece of their offense that they missed last week.
Alrighty, let's head into our 4 o'clock slate here, starting with the Washington Commanders and Arizona Cardinals here. In Arizona, the Cardinals are the favorite here, 3.5 points, total at 50.5. Cardinals money line at minus 175. Commanders at plus 145. What do we think about this first 4 o'clock matchup?
I think this is an over game for sure. I love points here. I'm a big Kyler Murray and Jaden Daniels fan. They have big arms with good receivers. Defenses are nothing to write home about on either side of the ball. They've looked hot. Marvin Harrison Jr. is questionable, which is kind of scary. He just got that tag today. But he's had 3 touchdowns the last 2 weeks, so you'd like to think he keeps going. James Conner, valid running back. Brian Robinson Jr. and Eckler look decent on the other side. I know Eckler is questionable with the concussion protocol. But yeah, I like McLaurin and Daniels to get it going. I like Murray and Marv to get it going if he's healthy. They got a lot of other options in the Arizona if not. But that's my favorite play here is probably the over. Mackie, what are you thinking?
Yeah, it's a high total, but I do lean over as well. Two very weak defenses. If Jaden Daniels can play anything like last week, he's definitely going to be able to tear up this defense. I'm not as high as everybody else is in the Cardinals. I know they played pretty good football as of late. They're only 1-2, but they're still playing good
They
football.
lost the Lions and Bills in closer games than people would
Yeah,
expect.
yeah, that's true. Okay, so two very credible losses. Marv's kind of getting in the full swing of things here. Kyler's playing really well. COD's coming out soon, so get it while you
He's
can.
got he's got to rack them up now.
But yeah, I like the over here. I'm gonna lean on Washington money line. I know they're sitting at 2-1. Nobody expected that at this point in the season, but
I did.
they're on a 2-game win streak right now. Jaden Daniels playing very good football. McLaurin's getting the job done. They have I guess you can call it a 2-headed snake in the backfield with Eckler and
Eckler's out this week, though, I think.
Is he out?
Yeah, he got that
Oh, I
concussion.
forgot
late in the game.
he got a concussion last week. All the load going to Robinson might be tough, but
Jaden Daniels he's pretty proficient on the ground too. I really like him. I don't know if you watched that game at all last week, but he took somebody's soul last week with that juke. He looked like Lamar Jackson coming out of the backfield.
he's playing confident football too, and that's all it really
All the
takes.
potential is there for them though. And you want to know what I love about this Commanders team that I didn't really pick up on too much until I was watching the game every snap last week in the prime time is Cliff Kingsbury is their OC, and I love Cliff Kingsbury. They have a good OC too. I think Dan Quinn's actually a good guy to lead this group. He's firing him up a little bit. He's good for a rebuild. One of those rah-rah type coaches. And then the offensive mind of Kingsbury is nice. And he's finally getting that connection with Terry McLaurin. That could be kind of scary. Scary Terry if you get him and Jaden going. That's why I'm more so on the over here. But I did say the Cardinals will push for a playoff spot, so they need a win here. And remember last week, didn't have a good week at all. Terrible week, honestly. But on Monday night, I sent them that Washington money line pick. You're like, yeesh, you watched the money line. Ended up easily hitting, even though it got kind of tight at the end. They were in control of that game the whole way through. Fat money line plus 310. So I wouldn't discredit you guys for taking him again this week, especially sitting at 2-1. someone I know threw a little lofty bet on the Commanders to win the division, which would be crazy. But if everybody else keeps losing games, it's not the craziest thing in the world. He could push for that Rookie of the Year, best rookie quarterback so far, in my opinion. But yeah, going with the over here. Love points in this one. Love a lot of skill from both sides of both offenses.
Lots of good stuff out of that first 4:00 game here. Let's move into Aces New England Patriots heading to San Francisco to visit the 49ers. The 49ers are the favorite here, 10.5 points for them, 40.5 as the total. 49ers money line minus 650, Patriots plus 450. Ace, what do you think your Patriots are able to do here against a 1-2 49ers team, but a heavy favorite?
The only hope for the Patriots to win this game is the trend of the year continuing, like Mackie alluded to earlier, of those large spread underdogs outright winning games. It's kind of crazy this season. And statistically, we should be just betting them to cover that number, right? I think this is a very tough spot. I think Kittle's active this week. They get another week without CMC to kind of figure out the offense. Jordan Mason's looked great in his absence. I think he ran for 77 last week, which is pretty good. I don't think Debo's there this week, so that's kind of scary. Jawan Jennings looked really good. Ricky Purcell probably coming back soon. Are they ever going to get Brandon Ayuk involved in the offense? I don't know why they paid him all this money for him not to play.
He's dropping balls left and right.
Yeah, he's not worth that money. I think they overreacted and panic paid him, which might hurt them in the long run. But he is still a really good receiver, so I'm not going to knock him too much yet. Jawan Jennings, though, career week last week. If you start him in fantasy, kudos, you put up 50 in one of my leagues. 3 touchdowns, looks like a complete dog. But yeah, I think Brock Purdy's actually he's getting the respect he deserves now. I see a lot of rankings. He's like top 5 quarterback in the league from a lot of people, and rightfully slow. I think he's leading the league in passing. A couple weeks ago, after week 1, with the McCaffrey injury news, I put in a pretty good bet
Dak's
there.
leading passing.
Is he? He's right there behind him, I think, though, right?
He's second.
Yeah, I put in a pretty cool bet a few weeks ago when McCaffrey was confirmed on the IR and potentially out for the year. I went and placed a wager on Brock Purdy to lead the league in passing at some very good odds. So I think that might be a decent look, at least, especially in Kyle Shanahan offense with the playmakers he has around them. I do think the Niners do win this week. They should. I mean, they're loaded on both sides of the ball. They got to get right after that tough divisional loss. Patriots flying all the way to California with Jacoby Brissett still at the home. They had Drake May. Maybe I say that's a little bit more interesting, but offense looks putrid. So I'm going with the Niners here.
Yeah, I actually don't have a play in this game. I definitely lean Niners. They're obviously the far better team, but they are definitely banged up. You're not sure if Kittle's going to be back here. They had a very tough loss last week against those Rams.
Started hot.
So you could see, and these high spreads this year are definitely scaring me. And we've seen signs from those Patriots to stay in games against good teams and even come out on top in that week 1 game against the Bengals, who Ace doesn't really think is good anyway. But I don't have a play in this game. I don't like the over under as well. It's sitting at 40.5. You could see some pretty shitty points in this game, make it go over. I'll lean under and I lean Niners spread, but definitely no play.
Yeah, but with the spreads this year, it's so tough to take a big spread so far. Biggest one I'm touching is Jets this week.
It scares me too much.
Some of the other ones are boding well for your Cowboys, though. They're not even close to the biggest spread of the week.
Whatever, Ace.
Alrighty, let's keep it moving here. Browns and Raiders is our next matchup here. Las Vegas Raiders are the favorite here. 2 points for them. The total at a low 37. Raiders money line at minus 130. Browns at plus 110. Both teams 1-2 heading into week 4 here. Ace, what do you got?
Mackie, I'm going to jump on your under train here. I think this one's a great spot for an under with 2 teams that are underperforming. But like a lot of them this week, a lot of them are divisional and this one's not. But one thing that's crazy to me is how the hell are the Vegas Raiders, that win against the Ravens is going to inflate everybody's thought of them so much. I think they're a brutal team led by a brutal quarterback and a bad coach. Not many bright spots on the offense besides the receivers, and I'm including Bowers in that spot too. Bowers, Adams, and Myers, the only spots in that offense I like. Defensive side of the ball, Max Crosby is great. He's great, and I love his podcast. I actually started following them on the gram the other day. Really good podcast he's got going there. But yeah, I don't see them winning this game. I think the Browns are a good team. I mean, I don't know why they're being written off so heavily. I know they haven't played great, but that defense is so good. Myles Garrett hasn't even played great. He's getting a lot of coverage his way, I know. But I like them at the plus money sign. Give me the Browns at the plus. I love that, actually. You might see that on my card. I think they beat this Raiders team. Raiders team is not good.
Yeah, Ace, I'm in the same boat as you. I know Deshaun Watson kind of sucks this year, but this Raiders team is I cannot understand why they're favorites.
Yeah, they're terrible.
To be honest. Browns defense should at least do enough to win this football game. if not Deshaun Watson. I think he still had 2 touchdown passes
He's
last
getting
week.
better, slowly but surely.
Yeah, but then he has his mix-ups as well. Um,
I think he
Give
hit
me the Browns
AC
pretty
for. I
much
think he hit AC for that opening touchdown
twice.
last week. So that was. Oh, he had 2 of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was.
2 of them.
Yeah, that was nice to see him really getting back in the mix because he's a more underrated receiver now. He was once heralded as younger days as one of the top receivers in the league. Kind of overlooked now, but I'm a big fan of his game. I'm just waiting for Nick Chubb to come back and seeing how he looks because he might breathe some big life in this offense, especially if they can have a positive record by the time he's back around.
Yeah, it's a pretty shitty game though.
For sure.
Agreed. Let's get into this final 4 o'clock matchup here. 3-0 Kansas City Chiefs heading to Los Angeles to visit the Chargers. Chiefs are the favorite here, 7.5 points. Total at 39.5. Chiefs money line at -400. Chargers at +310. What do we think the Chiefs are able to do with the Chargers here this week in LA?
I think
Herbert's out?
is that confirmed?
No, it's not, but I'm assuming he's gonna be.
But he always plays through the injury. Always, especially against the Chiefs. He backdoors his way into play.
If he plays, I'm gonna take the Chargers plus
Because
7.5.
he always covers against the Chiefs, literally
And the
always.
and the Chiefs are three balls not going their way from being 0-3. To be honest, I think this team
Are they even
they're
trying yet,
listen,
though?
yeah, okay, you could say that, and I think at the end of the day, this team can beat whoever they want. But they're sticking around in every single game. They're not making those big plays that they're usually making to kind of
Patrick Mahomes going
off
3
the
and
next
out the
game.
other day to ice the game. Like, what?
It's just not the Chiefs we know, but they're still getting the job done. So I think they're gonna win the game. But give me the Chargers at the plus 7.5 divisional battle. I mean, this Chargers team is overachieving to this point. I think Harbaugh is doing a pretty good
Good
job of
coach,
keeping
yeah.
the team up to par. But if Herbert's playing, you're not going with Taylor Heineke here. I think it could be a pretty good game.
Let me tell you this, though. You want to hear some tough things going in for this week? Joe Alt, the big piece that they drafted this year, is questionable for this one. If he misses this game, I don't like any chance they have in this one, especially with Chris Jones on the other side of the ball. Justin Herbert misses the game. If either of them misses it, then I don't like the Chargers at all. If they do both play, I could see a chance where they cover because, like we said, the Chiefs are kings of winning 3 to 5 point games, especially when the spread's bigger than that. And if you've watched the Chargers and Chiefs the last few years, Chargers have been banged up the whole time. Herbert's been hurt, and he always wills away to cover the spread and have a chance at winning at the end because these two divisional teams always go at it. Eager to see how J.K. Dobbins performs. He had a tough matchup with the Steelers last week. Got another tough one, a tough run defense with Spagnuolo's Chris Jones going up against them. That's not an easy task. But I think Mahomes gets going here in the 4 o'clock slate. He usually does pretty well there. You can bank on some good Mahomes props. They got the job done last week. I missed the card as I was late. Missed getting the Chiefs on my card as I was late to the draw from a golf tournament, but I was able to grab them live when they were losing at like almost plus 100. I think it was like minus 110. So that was a nice hit towards the end of the game, but they ended up covering the spread. Travis Kelce, keep fading. I wouldn't say fading him, just staying away from him until they get him involved because you know he's going to pop one week, but he's going to really show up in the playoffs this year. Maybe that world tour with Taylor kind of took him out of shape while everybody else was grinding in the gym. But I like all the other weapons they have. Kareem Hunt elevated this week, so that'll be interesting to see. Carson Steele, did you like him at all? He did pretty well. Samaje Perine looked pretty decent too, but I'd like to see Kareem Hunt really take over that starting job. But yeah, I got the Chiefs here regardless to win the game. Without Herbert, I think the Chiefs cover, and without Herbert and Alt, it's a murder. And without Alt, the Chiefs should cover too. So you can't miss those two if you're the Chargers.
Alrighty, let's move into our Sunday night football game here, 8:20 p.m. Eastern. The Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. The Ravens are the favorite here, 2.5 points. The total, 46.5. Ravens money line -130. Bills at +110. Bills undefeated here going into week 4. Ravens struggling 1-2 here, but looking all right. What do we think going into this game? Ace, you want to get us going?
Is it in the bank? Is it M&T Bank Stadium?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That place is going to be rocking for a Sunday night football game, especially against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. I would call them a rival because these are the two teams behind the Kansas City Chiefs the last few years who just can't really get over the hump, but they kind of run the AFC. With two of the top young, I don't say they're young anymore, I guess two of the top quarterbacks in the league, two of the top rosters in the league from top to bottom, both sides of the ball. This is going to be highly contested. Schedule makers giving us a fucking great one again. I think the Ravens do win here. Bills have kind of been due for a loss, but they've been playing great football on both sides. I love how Josh Allen doesn't have to play hero ball and can game manage, not turn the ball over, and use every weapon in his arsenal on that offense. They're being coached well on the defensive side of the ball. Guys like Russo stepping up. They have a good rotation of pass rushers. But yeah, I'm going with Lamar Jackson them today. I think you might see a few big plays because they have DeMar Hamlin starting that secondary, who I don't think is very good. Kudos to him for getting the back on the field, and he got blessed with an interception from Trevor Lawrence last week. But I think there's some big hitters for the Ravens here this week, especially guys like Zay Flowers, Isaiah Likely. Yeah, give me the Ravens here to win at home. I think it's a massive play for them being in their stadium. Mackie, what are you thinking? These Bills are hot though, so you could go either way on this.
Yeah, I think it's just a Josh Allen MVP season, and I think they keep the ball rolling here. Ravens been kind of getting in their own way. Almost blew that one again last week against those Cowboys after 22-point lead going into the
Mhm.
fourth quarter. But it should be a good game as well. I think Josh Allen just needs to do what he's been doing, just limit the turnovers, and that's basically been his problem his entire career is he can really ball out, but he's a turnover machine, and that's something he hasn't done this year. And they're sitting 3-0. He's probably sitting at at top of the MVP conversation right now. I know it's only 3 weeks in, but somebody's got to be there. I'm gonna go. I think they keep the ball rolling. Bills are playing really steady football right now, and Ravens are kind of doing the opposite. So I'm gonna go with the Bills here.
One thing that's looked really great though, how good has Derrick Henry looked being involved in that Ravens offense? I'm excited to see
He's
this matchup of Derrick Henry versus the Bills because I think the Bills.
Listen, he hasn't even really looked that. I mean, he's a touchdown
No,
machine.
he's
That's
looked
about
good
it.
though. He's looked good though.
Mm,
He had a big game against you guys last week. That stiff arm
against
highlighting it.
yeah. He had a good game against a pretty unsettled
He
Cowboys
looked good.
defense.
He
So I
looked
think
good
it's a
against
good game.
against the Raiders too. They just stopped running the ball. That's why people remember when people
Touchdown
were calling.
machine.
They were
Touchdown
calling for
machine.
Harbaugh to. They're calling for his head after starting 0-2, and I'm like, that's the craziest thing in the world. This team's still going to win the AFC North, and I'll keep touting it for the year. Derrick Henry in Game 1, he had 50 yards on 13 carries and a touchdown. Game 2, he had 90 yards and a touchdown. And last game, he had
He didn't
150
have 90. He
yards.
had 86.
All right, well, you add in the receiving yards, he had 96, but he had 150 last week with 2 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns in 3 games. He's been a spark plug in that offense, kind of revitalizing them. It's much better than Gus Edwards or Justice Hill and what they had in the past. Lamar Jackson getting the job done on the ground himself too. I think Lamar's looked pretty good as well. The defense needs to step up a little bit more than they have been because they're supposed to be really good. These two defensive units, whoever wins this game, I'm going to tip my cap to them as the better defense in this division. I think this is going to be a telling game. I think when the Ravens win this week against the Bills, you might have to respect them a little bit more than you have been so far because that roster's too good to keep losing too many games.
Going to be a good one on Sunday Night Football there in Baltimore. Let's move forward to Monday Night Football here. The Tennessee Titans and the Miami Dolphins in Miami. Dolphins the favorite here, just 1 point total, 36.5. Dolphins money line at -120. Titans at +100. What do we think for this first Monday Night Football game?
Gross game.
I'm just gonna keep it simple. I think I'm gonna keep fading Will Levis until he actually proves me
The
wrong. So
meme god, Will Levis.
I don't care who's that quarterback for the Dolphins. Give me them -1 money line, whatever you want to give it to him.
Is it Tim Boyle that's at quarterback for them this week? Isn't he the former Jets backup QB?
He is the former Jets backup QB, but I don't know if he is playing.
I think he is. I think Skylar Thompson got hurt last week against the Seahawks.
Maybe Mike McDaniel can make some adjustments this week.
Didn't we see
Didn't
Boyle in
make
the
last
prime
week.
time? Didn't we see Boyle in the prime time last year for the Jets? I believe we did, and he might have been kind of successful. Can't remember. My memory eludes me. But I think this is going to be a boring game, and I'm with you. I'm not touching this game. I'm not going to bet on this one. Maybe a Devin Achane touchdown, if anything. I think he's looked pretty good to start the year in lieu of everybody else being out. Maybe they get Tyreek Hill and Waddle going somehow because you can't not get those guys going. You have to get the ball in their hands more. Mike McDaniel, you're supposed to be a great offensive coordinator. Let's see you do it this week. If he's that good of a coach, he should find a way to beat this Titans team. Nice to see D-Hop coming back into the mix, huh? I know he's still kind of limited in his snap count, but he had a touchdown last week in a pretty big game. I think he went for 80 or 90 yards. I don't know. I think it's going to be pretty close. Monday Night Football game. I think Will Levis is going to find a way to make himself a meme once again and lose another football game, though. But that passing attack is coming to life a little bit. Not picking a side here. Maybe an over. Maybe because it's pretty low. And I think that both teams can find ways to score with weaker defenses. I don't know. Staying away, though. But the Dolphins, maybe they figure out their QB at some point. So they have to try and keep themselves afloat until then. This is not my favorite Monday night game of this week. But let's get into the next one.
Yeah, let's get into this next one here. The later of the two. Seattle Seahawks heading to Detroit to see the Lions. Detroit Lions are the favorite here, 3.5 points. Total at 46.5. Lions money line at -190. Seahawks at +155. What do we think about this one?
you see the people in our comments, Mackie, blowing up about the Seahawks? They can't stand how I keep hating on them. We're 3-0. I mean, come on, look at us. You're gonna keep writing us off? Like, guys, your team's not that good. Look at who you've beaten so far. The banged up Dolphins, or the quarterback-less Dolphins, the Patriots barely. And I forget who they beat week 1. Was it the Broncos? I think it was the Broncos. So they haven't really played anybody
Yeah, they have a
strong.
weak schedule.
I'm taking the Detroit Lions to pump them this week. -3.5 is one of the most generous lines I've ever seen. Nervous that the whole country is going to be on, but maybe some of those people will be on that plus number for that undefeated team. DK Metcalf has looked really good. Charbonnet, when he's in for Kenneth Walker, looked good. I think Walker will probably be back this week. 2 good running backs there. But yeah, give me the Detroit Lions. The 2 running backs are going to get going. They haven't lived up to the hype that they created last year leading into the playoffs. So I think this week we'll get everybody back on the Lions train when they put up a crooked number. A lot of touchdowns here. Both running backs get in. Jared Goff gets going again. He's pretty good in the prime time. I think Hutchinson has a strong game as well. Dan Campbell's boys are going to roll. I'll buy the half a point for safety, but I'm hammering that -3.
Yeah, I think we can even see -4, -4.5 by kickoff, but I'm gonna go with the Lions as well here. I think the Seahawks haven't really had much to deal with up to this point. I know they've looked pretty good. They're sitting at 3-0. Geno's been looking pretty good. That defense could get diced up by this Detroit team. I'm kind of with you on every point here.
I think they run the ball down their throat this week, and they have a decent secondary out there in Seattle, but you got to cover it. Amon-Ra St. Brown, you got to think Laporta comes back to life at some point. But Gibbs and Montgomery, what they've been able to do so far and what Dan Campbell's been doing with them for the past couple of years now, I like those 2 running backs to roll. And for Huff's sake, I'm going to say it for him too. He's got the Lions on his card too.
Going to be a really good week 4 here. Lots of interesting matchups, a lot of crappy matchups, but we'll make it through. So make sure you tune in on Sunday for our live stream, showcasing our favorite games and giving you all the best picks for the week. With that, let's jump into some college football. Mackie, can you recap last weekend for me?
That
Yeah,
Shedeur Sanders game was kind of nuts. I'm a big Colorado
I
fan just
can
because of the hype.
recap it. Yeah.
Travis
What
Hunter
games
Heisman.
we can get into? Yeah, that was a great game. I actually was on Baylor in that one, and it's a very tough way to lose, but great game. I'm not gonna say Colorado should have won that game because they definitely shouldn't have, but
Hail Mary.
got to overtime, and they did what they needed to do. So
They were playing this song up in the
you guys-
locker room after the game. Did you see that?
yeah, yeah. I
Is
did.
there a
Yeah,
legitimate case for
I-
Travis Hunter to be the Heisman though?
I don't know what the odds look like. I know that guy Cam Ward up in Miami is having
Miami?
a really
Yeah,
good
he's looked
season.
good.
That guy Ashton Genty at Boise State is having a really good year.
But he has
Quinn
2
Ewers
game-winning
kinda
plays
sucks
already. He
off.
has that game-winning touchdown.
I think Shedeur is ahead of him.
It's
I
crazy
think
though,
he is.
just because it's a quarterback award, right?
Yeah. But that was a great game by Colorado. Great win. Good for their team total wins. I know a lot of people probably have their under. But Michigan, huge win over USC at home in the big house. I knew it would be hard for them to lose 2 games in the big house, and it was. I was actually on Michigan in that game as well, so that was a big win. Um,
Oklahoma got beat by Tennessee,
Third
huh?
game,
That Tennessee
Utah.
Tennessee team's legit.
Right, yeah. Tennessee went into Oklahoma, 7.5-point favorites, got the job done. Oklahoma actually benched their quarterback, and they're going with somebody new. I forget his name though. I can get back to you guys on that one. But Utah, big win over Oklahoma State going into Oklahoma State. We had that one on card. That one was good.
That was like a
What
record for them. I thought I saw because I was watching that one because I told you guys there. That was like their first win as a being ranked that highly or against an opponent ranked that highly
Utah?
on the road. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma got benched. He was 7 for 16 with an interception.
Brutal.
Guy Michael Hawkins went in. He made it respectable. They lost by 10. He got a touchdown. He's gonna be the starter going forward. So
Usually we know those Oklahoma QBs. It's kind of
Oklahoma.
crazy when you don't know the Oklahoma quarterback.
Different now. Yeah, different era for sure. But Oklahoma, welcome to the SEC.
What about that one team? One of my teams up here. We don't get many teams in New England or the Northeast at all. Boston College, are they legit? They have some good wins here. I think they're undefeated to start the year. Had a big win at home this week.
Yeah, I haven't paid much attention to them. I don't really know, but are they undefeated?
Yeah, I believe they are. I saw them beat Florida State. That was one of their big games earlier on, but obviously we know Florida State's kind of beat nowadays.
I think they had the week off.
Yeah, so that was a fun one to see. They had that red bandana games, and they ended up storming the field for it. I think they beat Michigan State at home, so they were pretty hyped for that one.
Yeah, but other than that, Great week of college football
Arch
last week. They had
Manning, how
another.
did he do? I didn't see many highlights from him.
He had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not the best game against a weak opponent, but they won 51-6, so
It doesn't
51 to
matter.
3. So I mean, got the job done. I don't think he played a full game.
But his Heisman and hype and taking over the job from Quinn Ewers hype is down the drain from that.
Not down the drain, but it's definitely slowed down a little.
Mm.
It's tough, you know. You going in your first game as a start. It doesn't matter who you're playing. The nerves are going. You're the number 1 team in the country. That doesn't help. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see going forward how
That
long.
guy Cam Ward, I saw some of his highlights. I'd never seen him before. The way he moves in the
Oh, he's
pocket
a
so
dog, dude.
nonchalantly, that's insane.
He's a dog.
Could the U
Miami's sick.
Are they gonna push for the playoffs? I like the U. That's one
Yeah,
of my favorite
yeah.
teams.
They're a playoff team. They keep on this track. They're definitely a playoff team. But you know, you got a guy playing like that. He's smooth, dude. He's a stud.
Alrighty. We have some week 5 games we want to look at real quick here. Virginia Tech at Miami U here on Friday. Miami the favorite, 19.5 points, 54.5 is the total. Any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I expect Cam Ward to just continue doing what he's doing. I don't see Virginia Tech keeping this one close. I
He's the
like the minus
Heisman
20
favorite,
and a
right?
half. He is the Heisman State favorite at the moment, yeah. With Quinn Ewers going out last week. Quinn Ewers was, but obviously he's not
Not
anymore.
enough games to earn that back even,
I'm
really.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this Miami team though. They're sitting 7th in the country right now. I think they should roll at home against Virginia Tech.
I think I'm gonna tune in more just to watch that guy Cam Ward play. He looks like a hype machine.
Fun to watch.
Alrighty, next one here. Illinois going to Penn State. Penn State, 17.5 point favorite, 47.5 is the total. Looks like 86% of the money's on Penn State, but 83% of the spread bets is on Illinois. What are we thinking here?
I think Illinois is being looked at a little too much now. They had a nice win over Nebraska last week. 7.5 point dogs ended up winning in overtime. I'm not high on them, and I think that guy Altmaier, I think is the quarterback. I don't think he's very good. I think he's gonna have a really tough time with Penn State's defense. Penn State, I think they won 51-0 last week. They played Kent State or something like that. They're coming together. I mean, they had that rough game against Bowling Green. Obviously, found a way to get out of it alive. But I'm a big fan of this Penn State team. I'm a big fan of this Penn State defense. I think they can really shut down this Illinois offense as well. And I think Penn State should roll in this one. They're home, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Penn State on this one. Any other games you got? You got Kansas
That's
State,
all.
Oklahoma
Sorry, yeah, we do
State.
have one more.
K-State just dropped a game, huh?
They got blown out by BYU, 38-9, I think.
Wasn't there a big hype train on K-State kind of before that too?
They have a really good. What's the running back's name? They have a really good running back. Quarterback is not the best, but he gets the job done. What's his name? Jace Brown. Oh no, that's the receiver. DJ Giddens. I think he was shut down last week, but yeah, he's having a pretty good year. And their quarterback Avery Johnson, he's a seasoned vet. Just kind of gets the job done, but they didn't last week. BYU shut him down real quick.
We do have one more matchup here. Saturday night, Georgia and Alabama in
that's
Alabama.
Fire. That's
Ooh.
fire.
Georgia the
Proud of
favorite
those
here,
boys.
1.5 points total, 48.5. Georgia money line minus 25. Alabama money line plus 105. Money and spread pretty even. What are we thinking about this one?
You know what? Give me
Milroe.
Jalen Milroe in
Yeah.
Alabama. You're not going into Tuscaloosa as the
Saturday night.
against a 4 seed Saturday night. That place is going to be jumping. Georgia's falling off a little. I like Carson Beck. I don't think he's bad, but I think that going into Alabama, you still have Jalen Milroe.
He's a great college. Jalen Milroe is a great college quarterback. I don't know if he'll
Gets
put
the
it
job
together in
done.
the
and
league, but he's
He's
great.
got it on his feet too. I like Bama in this game. Give me Bama to beat Georgia.
Are people surprised that Bama, if they win this game, how surprised will people be that they've been able to maintain their prowess post Saban? People kind of wrote them off, which is weird to me. I'm like, why would you ever write them off until you see them do anything to make you think they write them off? They still have all the 5 stars in the world, right?
Yeah, I think they lost a few commits, but you know,
Still loaded.
yeah. And all these guys, all they care about is money. You're at Bama, you're getting all the money in the world. So
That's gonna be a sick game. I'll tune into that one for sure.
for sure.
Lots of good stuff out of the college football world here this weekend. So make sure you check out our picks on Instagram and Twitter each Friday and Saturday for those matchups. To jump in the MLB here, Shohei Ohtani has officially entered the 50-50 club in an insane fashion. Ohtani went 6 for 6 on Thursday in Miami with 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, and 4 runs scored in a 20-4 win over the Marlins. How far do you think this Dodgers team goes?
He is the reason they're going to win the World Series.
They are not going to win the
It's the
World Series.
same as all
They're
of these
not.
past Dodgers teams where they're loaded and everybody thinks they're going to choke. But Shohei Ohtani's going to get a taste of the playoffs. Dude, he put up 3 home runs in a game, and then he's going to go 55 and 55. He's going to put – you think when the spotlight's on, I know people aren't going to pitch to him, and then you're going to have to pitch to good bats behind him too. But when the spotlight is on, he's going to show up, and he's going to be the reason that this team wins in the World Series. I said it before the year happened. A lot of people are doubting him now, but now they have Shohei Ohtani for the NL playoffs to get through and help them capture another World Series.
Yeah, I mean, he's having a great year. He's only on one side of the ball. This season is not even more impressive than Ronald Acuna's season last year. Listen, Ohtani's playing great, but this is not like some stellar season that he's having.
He's gonna have 55 and 55, and he leads the league in batting
Stolen
average.
bases is a huge stat now with the
I agree with that.
clock.
I agree with that.
Dude, Ronald Acuna had 41 home runs and 74 stolen bases last year. Nobody batted an eye. This guy goes 50 and 50.
55. He's gonna have 55 home runs.
Listen, he's having a great year, but he's also batting under 300. Ronald Acuna batted 330 last year.
Is he batting under 300?
He's at like 297.
Okay, well that's kind of stretching that one.
Under 300, dude. Acuna batted 330 last year.
That is crazy.
Nobody blinked an eye over his season, and now it's just a Shohei Ohtani effect. I think the Dodgers will choke again, like they always do. He's only on one side of the ball. How much can you really do?
They brought in a lot of other pieces, though. I like that the pitching staff they put together. Kershaw will be back for the playoffs, too. But that Jack Flaherty guy who's going tonight, that Padres team, there's a lot of scary teams, though. I get that. That would be the only reason. I think this is one of the tougher fields in the MLB than years past. Would you agree with that? Like, these wildcard teams are actually pretty valid on both sides.
Listen, I think every year you got to watch out for these wildcard teams. Every team,
but they're more talented.
You look at the Padres, you look at whoever gets in between the Diamondbacks, Mets, and Braves. I mean, none of them you really want to see.
Braves are the worst lineup.
Yeah, well, they're definitely playing the worst too right now. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting for sure. There's no easy matchups unless you're playing the Brewers, in my opinion, in the NL at least. Even in the AL, I mean,
in the AL, I think AL, NL, all those wild card teams are World Series potential rosters though. Like those Padres are on the heels of the Dodgers for the division. They could a massive win tonight. Imagine the Padres flip that and they take that division at the end of the year. That'd be crazy.
Would everyone still be talking about Dodgers World Series?
I'm the only one that is, I think. I think a lot of people abandon that ship.
Yeah, because they're the Dodgers and they always find a way to mess it up.
No, I know, but I'm so eager to see Ohtani in the postseason. Imagine he has like a career postseason run too. It wouldn't be too far-fetched to think.
Then we could start talking about greatest offensive season of all time.
Yeah, right. You got to get the ring to secure it. But yeah, your Mets in the hunt. You kind of started the pod with that, so that's fun to see. I think they cracked our top 5 in the power rankings too. But the D-backs, I hope they get in. I have that long shot future on them at great odds. The Tigers are probably the most surprising team of it all. They've been on an absolute heater, but they have a stacked rotation. Really young team with some great prospects. They just called up the top pitching prospect in the MLB to help them out in the bullpen. There was 100+ miles an hour, Jackson Jobe. So it'll be fun to watch. Tariq Skubal going for that AL Cy Young as well. So that team's really put it all together. Torkelson's back up. Colt Keith's there. They have a lot of good bats in that lineup. So I'm kind of happy that they're there. That's the one young, exciting team. And then what about those Houston Astros? Once again, winning the AL, was that Central? AL Central, AL West, whatever it is.
AL West.
Yeah, AL West. Yeah, Central's the Guards, Twins, Royals, Tigers. Yeah, winning that AL West to really show how good they're still here. And they brought in Jason Hayward, which is a funny piece, but he had a big game last night, big home run, big catch. So I think they're primed for playoff success per usual.
They're going to win the AL West with under 90 wins. So, I mean, weak division. Obviously, they're at the top of a weak division.
But they've had a weird year. Super banged up, too. No Kyle Tucker. A lot of their starting pitchers have been in and out of the IL list. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a really good end to the baseball season. Actually, it's a
It's a
shame.
very good end.
Like
Very good
everybody's
end.
eyes are all on football right now, but it's a really good end. I think, like I said, I'm gonna stick this point. This is one of the most talent-wise loaded fields for the MLB playoffs. So I'm excited to see how it plays out. And it must be nice that your team's still in it. Hey, my team's still in it too, but your team's firmly in it.
My team's actually in it. Your team's statistically still in it.
Your team will hurt that much more if you don't actually get in.
Dude, I know. I'm starting to get worried.
The postponement.
This
Oh
game's
god,
so
that
tickets,
build
though.
the postponement today builds for weird shit to happen.
Dude, do you see the schedule?
No.
They play a double header the day before the wild card games. It's basically to see who gets in because it's going to be within 2 games.
That's gonna be like the coolest doubleheader of all time, but that kind of sucks going into the wild card. Imagine you win that now and your bullpen's beat up. It's like you're playing multiple wild card games in a row. 2 games in one day right before. Not
It
what you
is
want to
pretty
see.
brutal. But the Mets automatically will be in contention to get in with those 2 games. If they can sweep and find a way to get up 3 games,
Mhm.
then they might not even matter. So hopefully that could be the scenario. But they can get swept and the Braves can sweep, and we're still only bet down 2 games, and we'll just have to win both the doubleheader games.
I just really hope the Diamondbacks find a way to get in. I'm cheering for you too. I hope your team gets in. I really want to see the Braves get knocked out this year with that banged up lineup because it's not going to be as fun to watch. And I think they're an easy
Yeah.
out.
Mhm.
But I think if the Diamondbacks get in, I'm going to keep tooting their horn. I think they're the scariest wild card team out of everybody.
They're just not playing very good baseball right now, so it's a tough time for them to kind of shit the bed. But
Mhm.
they're definitely worthy of getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, you guys already gave a pretty good roundup of the wild card scenarios in the MLB playoffs, but let me go over the power rankings here. Number 5, the New York Mets. Number 4, the San Diego Padres. Number 3, the New York Yankees. Number 2, the Philadelphia Phillies. Number 1, the Los Angeles Dodgers there. Any comments on that?
And the
Orioles
Mets in
falling
the
off.
last week of the season find their way into the power rankings.
Better get into the playoffs, Mac. It's all for
They
nothing.
better get into the playoffs, or I'm gonna be pissed. But playing great baseball, they deserve it. 4 NL teams there. Ace always talking about the powerhouse AL. The NL is rolling right now.
I know what's carrying.
Probably have the 2. There's 2 NL East teams in there as well, so I don't know what that means, but
there's only one good one though.
oh my god, this guy.
I gotta
Talk to
hate
me
on
next
New
year.
York.
Those Red Sox are ahead of schedule, right? Yeah, you'll say that again
They
next
are.
year as well.
Hey, all I know is you didn't get in on the bet before the season. $20 to whoever's team wins the most games this year.
You
Thank
guys
God.
wouldn't even let me in on that.
We asked you. You said no. You were like, no,
Yeah.
no. That was when the Mets were still mid. But
I think it was when they were 0-5 to start the season.
yeah, when was that peak? When did you guys really hit that stride to know, like, all right, we got a shot at the playoffs? Was that late August? After the All-Star break, maybe?
It was at the All-Star break. I think we were a game and a half out.
It was around the Grimace time.
Yeah. Well, that was a little earlier.
Mhm.
We went on an 11-game win streak at some point, and then we just kind of started playing like 600 ball.
And then Lindor was making his push for MVP. He's back fully now, right?
Yeah, I mean, these 2 days off are definitely going to help. He was supposed to be in the lineup tonight, but I think he needed a little more of a break.
Yeah.
We just need these games, so you gotta push it back.
Right.
Alrighty, let's go through some odds here. Who's going to win the American League, the National League, and the World Series here? Huff has Yankees to win the AL, Phillies to win the NL, and Yankees to win the World Series. But starting out with the NL here, Dodgers plus 165, Phillies plus 200, Astros plus 500, and Brewers plus 900. What do you guys think there?
What is
Astros
that?
in the
What's
NL?
Sorry. Phillies. The way this graph is, it's weird. I
No,
apologize.
you're good. I'm gonna take the boring answer in the NL and say the Dodgers just because like I've been riding that so long. And I'm just like
dumb.
yeah, there's way better value on other people. I look at the Padres, I look at the Diamondbacks. Those are 2 teams with great odds to really make a push for it. But my official pick will be the Dodgers.
Hold on, let me look into this real quick.
Of course, Big Huff picks the Yankees. The guy's the biggest Yankee fan. He doesn't even live in New York. I don't know. He wants them to win so bad, and it's like the inevitable. It's like clockwork. They're like the Cowboys and the Ravens and the Hurricanes. They always lose in the playoffs.
Give me the Mets plus 1,500. If they don't make it in, give me the Padres at plus 500. You see that triple play they turned last
Yeah,
night?
to win, to basically
Clinch-
lock in
clinch a
their
playoff
playoff
spot.
spot. Yeah,
Before, with Ohtani on deck, first and second, you're up by
Yeah.
2 runs, and you turn a triple play. This team is electric.
they're
If
stacked.
not-
That's a stacked team too, though. That's a stacked team. That Padres
And they
team.
have the pitching as well. So give me the Padres at plus 500. if the Mets don't find a way to not make the playoffs.
This Padres team, like, you know how we were talking about the Red Sox being ahead of schedule? This Padres team's like behind schedule. Because remember when they brought in X and Soto and Machado, and they're like, we're going to win the World Series, and then they like fell flat on their face 2 years in a row. Well, kudos to them because they didn't even look that good to start the year. I always thought they were a good team, and they finally were all healthy. Their lineup's gross, their pitching staff's gross, and they're putting it all together, and they have 90 plus wins, and they're in the playoffs here. So, I like that pick. In the AL though, yeah, Jesse, read us those AL odds. I want to hear those.
Yeah, Yankees leading the board here, plus 180. Astros, plus 350. Orioles, plus 425. Guardians, plus 400. And Tigers, plus 1,300.
Let me just say something real quick. If the Yankees don't find a way out of this AL, then they're never going to find a way.
How many times have we said that, bro? How many times?
No. Yeah, but you've always had the Astros breathing down their neck.
Like, as
this
favorites.
Astros team is not as good as they've always been. The Guardians have the second best odds right now. Orioles playing like shit.
I feel like that's great value on the Orioles, though.
No, dude, come on. That team has been one of the worst teams since the All-Star break.
So young.
If they didn't start so well, they wouldn't even be in the picture.
Yep.
If anything, the red hot Tigers are their biggest threat right now. I don't think the Astros are really a threat to them.
What about the Royals?
The fact, Royals are like 2-8 in their last 10. They're hanging on by a thread as well.
Valid.
Do
you think when it comes playoff time though, like teams can flip the switch? Because before the year, people had the Orioles pegged to win the whole thing, and they have such a talented lineup, great pitching staff too. They have the top guys. They brought in people at the deadline. All of this super young talent. Do you think maybe being young is a good thing for them here? Like, oh, we don't know any better, so we're not going to be down.
In my opinion, the Orioles
are dead in the water.
The worst value pick out of every team here. I think you're better off taking the Mariners, who aren't even. I think they're 2.5 games back still.
I'm gonna go with the Astros here, just to little brother the whole AFC, the whole AL. I just really can't wait to see the Yankees choke again this year because Yankees fans have been in shambles, and I just can't wait to see it again because they just don't know how to win when it matters.
Yeah, like I said, if they don't figure it out this year, then they should never get their hopes up ever again. But
give me an Astros-Dodgers World Series. That'd be fire.
I'm gonna go with the Yankees. Let's get a Yankees Mets. Let's get a Subway Series World Series. Or a Padres Yankees.
Don't group yourself with the Yankees because they're just playoff has-beens.
Let's go through these World Series odds real quick here. Dodgers plus 325, Yankees plus 450, Phillies plus 450, Astros plus 800, Padres plus 900, Orioles plus 1,100, Mets plus 2,500.
Dodgers and Padres.
Yeah. Padres plus 1,100, great value. Mets 2,800. I got them at 5,000 at the All-Star break.
They might not even make it.
Doesn't matter. Look at the odds.
Yeah, no, they are good odds. I would like to see those other teams though on the outside looking in. But yeah, like I said, if I'm putting in tickets right now, I'm going to the casino, putting in $5 in the machine for each 2 tickets here. For long shots, I'm going with the Dodgers. I'm going with the Padres. I think those are 2 stacked lineups that you can't go wrong with. At least one of them will get there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think best value is Yankees plus 400, Padres plus 1,100.
You really think the Yankees though? Like honestly, like they don't win in the playoffs.
You just took the Dodgers.
No, I know, but
what's the difference?
The difference is you're a Red Sox fan recently. The Dodgers have won a World Series recently.
Yeah, it was the COVID year. It doesn't even count.
Okay, so now we got excuses. But like
they played 56 games that season.
They also get there a lot more than the Yankees too.
Not really.
In recent history, when's the last time the Yankees won a World Series?
We're in a World Series? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Listen, but it's also a way easier route this year.
You think?
The NL is loaded. There is not a team in the NL that you think.
Yeah, the NL is tough. You know what's weird? You know what's weird though? Like
Yankees at plus 400. They're the only team I think that can make it in.
And it's only because of recency too, because the other teams have been playing so bad of late. Because those teams are actually really, really good rosters, and they played like it all year. But this past month, like that whole top of the AL, besides the Yankees, played like shit.
Exactly.
Just weird.
Exactly. So it's just competition at this point. If they can get there.
But if they see the Astros, do you like the Yankees' odds to get out of that series?
Yes. Easily.
Rent free though. Rent free.
Different team, man.
Still got the same guy leading the way though. He gets in his own head.
There's no trash cans banging anymore though. You know, it's a little different.
Garrett Cole's just an all-time choker. You know what else scares me about the Yankees though? They don't have a high leverage guy that they can put in to close a game out.
Yeah, you got to rely on Clay Holmes. Brutal
setup, man.
I don't know. We'll see.
Alrighty, lots of good stuff here this week, especially MLB, college football, NFL. Make sure to tune in for our live stream Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, or 9 sometime in the morning, all over the place, as well as check out our picks on Instagram and Twitter throughout the week, and stay tuned for more on that. But that's all I got. Anything else to add, guys?
I hope that my Yankee slander makes up for my Jets praising. So don't hate me, Boston faithful.
Alrighty, good stuff. See you guys next week. Thanks for coming out. That's all I got.